In this video, I am going to discuss with a question from Shakespeare's Sisters in Master's Final Year English Department. What, according to Virginia Woolf, are the barriers that women face to become a writer? Introduction. In the essay Shakespeare's Sister, Woolf has given a good number of factors which created barriers in the way of women's becoming writer, mostly in the 15th and 16th century, then in lesser degree down to the 19th century. Confined life of women in Elizabethan age. The writer says she is puzzled why women of Elizabethan age did not write anything while other men was capable of writing at least a song or sonnet. To write a fiction, the writer have to varied experience of life because a fiction is like a spider's web which has to attached to the four corners of the wall. That means a fiction grows out of the intricate experience of life. But women of Elizabethan age were not have such experiences. They were confined within the house. Suppression of women. In G.M. Trevelyan's History of England, women are depicted as beaten by husbands and dominated by them, not permitted to marry according to their will. Wife practice without shame as high as low. Similarly, the daughter who refused to marry the gentleman of her parents' choice was liable to be locked up, beaten, and flung about the room. That was in the 15th century, and in the 16th century it was still the exception for women of the upper class and middle class to choose their husband, and when the husband had been assigned, he was lord and master. Women were inferior to men. Looking at the work of Shakespeare, the writer could not help thinking that it would have impossible for any woman to become written and work of Shakespeare in the Shakespearean or Elizabethan age. To prove her point, she creates an imaginary character named Judy, whom he calls Shakespeare's sister. She imagines how Judy might have lived in the context of the circumstances and customs of society during the 16th century England. She might have ended her life in the miserable condition, and in such circumstances of life it was impossible for her to write anything. Even she might have had the genius like her brother Shakespeare. It was unthinkable for a woman to become a genius like Shakespeare. That is only imagination. In reality, it is unthinkable that any woman in Shakespeare's day should have had Shakespeare's genius. Such genius is not usually born in the centuries. It was not born in England like among the Saxons and Britons. It is not born today. Women become housewives before they were out of their house, who become housewives before they were out of the teens. Of course, some women of genius were born in some period of history. They were exceptional case like Emily Bronte. A woman must have hindered by men to become an artist. Such women were brought up under the hostile circumstances. Their genius could not effervescence. Their creative impulse must have thwarted and hindered by people. A woman of genius have pulled asunder by the contrary instinct. Christianity was serious fetish, and even if women wrote something, she had to assume the male pseudonym like Josh Eliot or Josh Sand. Circumstances to write a work of genius is almost always a feat of prestigious difficulty. Nothing is like to come out of the writer's mind whole and entire. Material circumstances are against it. Then the world's notorious indifference to the unbearable thing. Then there are discouraging and disparaging remarks like those of the Oscar Wilde, Oscar Browning, Mr. Gregg, and the paper like Saturday Review.